This is my new project car that I bought from Facebook Marketplace for probably too much money. The interior is in bits, but that's not the biggest problem. The engine doesn't run. In today's episode, we're going to figure out what is causing this engine not to fire up and get it started for the first time. Let's get to it.
Let's get this fuel relay in. Let's give this a crank, see what happens. Still no crank. I mean, it's possible that the fuel lines are maybe blocked, or there's still just so much old fuel in there that it just won't start. Got a puzzle on our hand here, folks. What do you think it is? Let me know in the comments, because it's always good to kind of get extra suggestions. I still think we have a fueling problem, but I do want to test if all the changes we've made, replacing the relay and the fuse, see if this car even starts. So I'm going to whack a whole bunch of this, open up the throttle body, and if this doesn't work, then I am really confused. Yes, it lives! Not for long. So that definitely means that 1, the engine works, and 2, we have a fueling problem. So the question is, do I drain the tank somehow, or do I whack more fuel in? Logic says we should probably drain the tank. Let's see if I can figure out a way to do that. But the engine works, people. The engine works. I didn't buy a crap heap. Well, I may have still bought a crap heap, but it's a crap heap with a potentially working engine, which is not where I was earlier on in the weekend. This is massive progress. And if you like this progress, don't forget to give this channel a subscribe and a like as well, because it does make a huge difference to small channels like this one.
I really recommend getting your fuel tank drained occasionally, particularly if you're picking up an old car, because there was so much crud in this fuel tank, including some fungi, which is a bit weird. Unfortunately, even though they supplied a 5 litre can full of fresh fuel, the car wouldn't turn over. Back to the drawing board.
I've been a little bit despondent this morning because I couldn't get the car to work, and so I've mostly been focusing on getting the interior to be sort of more in pieces. Still haven't installed the driver's seat, but I've mostly just been thinking, trying to diagnose what's the potential problem. I've got the rear seats partially removed to get access to the fuel pump, or at least hear if it's priming. But again, so far, no joy. But the post did arrive, and it gave me a new relay. I ordered 3, so the original's here. This is one of the replacements, and another one has just arrived. And what's interesting is I installed it for basically just shits and giggles, because at this point I'm kind of running out of solutions. For the first time, the mileage has come up, and the gauges are working. That's really interesting. Should we give it a crank? So no, still not working. But that's progress. The gauge is working, and the mileage showing. That's awesome. That's something I was worrying about, having to get like dash rebuilt. That's epic. Still no idea. It's the fuel pump could still be dead, so that's not coming till tomorrow. So I guess we'll have to pick things up then.
The best place to look at car parts, your kitchen. Don't tell my wife, because I probably shouldn't bring a fuel pump in here. Anyhow, it's really noisy outside. There's big kind of drilling, banging, car alarms and all that sort of stuff. It is hot garbage to be able to record. Anyhow, we have successfully removed the fuel pump. Look at it. Oh, doesn't it look majestic? Then this is slightly less crusty than it was. It was super crusty when I brought it out. So my hunch was that it is dead, and I have verified that via some testing, which I'll show you now. Welcome to my test rig. Because the fuel tank is kind of open over there, I've had to move this as far away as possible. But as you can see, we've hooked up the fuel pump to a multimeter, which I've not broken out for 20 years. But yeah, we can then see how, if any power is actually reaching this point. We should see 12 volts as the car primes. So ignition key to on, 12.3. And I have already got a new fuel pump, but the problem is it's a lot smaller and the connections are completely wrong. And this is annoying, because this was a more expensive and guaranteed to fit a Honda Prelude 2.2 VTEC. And it is guaranteed to not fit. So I need to figure out a new fuel pump. But we have finally figured out what the problem is. It is a dead fuel pump. So happy days. I just need to now find a replacement fuel pump. So you'll catch me when I found one.
Now, soldering isn't my finest skill, and soldering and fuel in a fuel tank just gives me the wibblies. Luckily, my brother is awesome at soldering, and so I press ganged him into rebuilding the fuel pump on my behalf.
Now got it working, the fuse blew, but I didn't have a spare fuse. What's like a fuse but better? Screw bit.
Nice.
I'm going to do a temporary
I mean, that's
fix.
going to take a lot of current
It's
for
gonna
that
take a
fuse
lot.
melt. Hey, working fuel pump.
Working fuel pump. All right, so you should be able to bung that in now. There you go, sir.
I have some pork pie in my hand.
We are so close to getting this ready. We've upgraded the fuel pump to a nice Walbro one, and so it's just a case of whacking off this cover again, wangling in this fuel pump somehow, and then hooking the lines back up, priming, and getting ready to go.
But this is just such a cool moment. I think we've done everything we can to get this car started, and I'm really excited to hear it fire up. So let's get this pumping.
The tension is palpable. We're so close to having the car running on fuel instead of brake cleaner. Now it's a case of installing this fuel pump, which turned out to be a lot harder than getting it out. So much twisting and turning and repositioning to get the filter housing in just the right space. Next time, I think I'll just drop the tank. It'll probably make it a lot easier. And then, when I finally got it fitted, I realised I'd forgotten to put in a seal. So I had to remove the pump and the housing, reinstall the seal, and then it was more wiggling to get it back in position. Then we just needed to install a couple of lines, a fuel line and what I assume is a breather hose, and then this car is all buttoned up and ready to go.
Primed, but bit of a leak. So it seems to be leaking from here. So I'm going to tighten this up and give it a dry and see if it fires up. We've installed some strategic blue roll. Let's go see if we can start it.
Looks dry to me.
Let's crank this baby and see if it explodes. First time! She lives! That sounded pretty good. That sounded pretty good. Yeah! I chased the fuel pump. The engine does start, but it's now shown up a new issue. We don't have any gears. So we've got clutch. I mean, it's not sunk to the floor. Whilst I can shift gears with the car off. As soon as you turn the car on, clutch down, nothing. Essentially three things: the master cylinder for the clutch, the slave cylinder for the clutch, or the clutch itself, or all three things together. So I need to go hunting for parts. But we have made major progress. The car actually starts and runs. That is absolutely huge. And the engine sounds great. The exhaust sounds kind of terrible, but it'll do for now. So I guess, do I crack on with the other service items whilst I'm here? Do an oil change, stuff like that? Or do I go into research mode about figuring out the clutch issue? Probably do an oil change. That seems to make the most sense.
Let's get this car jacked up and look at that dynamic pose. He may be 42 people, but he can still bend like a 70-year-old. Whacking down my favorite Aladdin towel, we've got protection, we're ready to do this oil change. Quick blast of brake cleaner on the sump, and here we go. Everything was going well, but unfortunately I forgot to take out the drain plug on the drain pan, and so oil did indeed piss everywhere like always. Not as bad as last time, but definitely more than I intended. Oh well, maybe the next oil change will be better.
Why would you put the oil filter there? It's just dumb. It's just really stupid. Whilst I'm waiting for my brother to bring an alternative oil filter removal tool, we might as well have a go at these brakes, because they've definitely seen better days. I've already made a start on the other side, so yeah, let's get to it. Foolishly, I forgot to press record, but managed to get the pads out. I mean, these do have quite a lot of meat on them, but they're very, very old. I don't think that was done by me. It might have been done by me, I don't know. But yeah, it's going to be good to replace these. Well, this looks like the front brakes. So let's get this disc off and get this new brake pads on.
A story is developing on this project car. 1 step forward, 2 steps back. Everything on changing the spray disc is fighting me, from rusted in location screws to completely seized brake calipers. And so I haven't really managed to fix this problem yet because I am waiting for parts.
I'm going to change the spark plugs because all that cranking has made the battery a bit tired. So I'm going to whack that on charge on my VTEC, and whilst that's doing its thing, I'm going to do other service bits that I'd be doing anyway.
As we pulled them when we collected the car, but replacing them is just good practice.
And I've gone with a slightly different design, so this is like the multi-point tip. More, it has to be better, right, from my perspective. So
Let's look at the overall plan for Project Prelude.
first of all, buy a super awesome car. We've done that, tick that box. 2, we need to make it road legal. That's the plan for the next couple of episodes. What do we need to fix, repair and replace to make this car road legal? And 3, the most important bit, VTEC noises.
But I think we've managed to get a lot done in a short amount of time. I think the car is really starting to come together. It's starting to look less like an abandoned project and more like a car that's about to get back on the road. With that, I think this is a good point to end the episode. I really hope you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And with that, I'll catch you in the next one.